Welcome to the hardest rebuild I've ever attempted in college football 26. I'm taking over the Toledo Rockets, a one-star program hanging on by a thread. 17 of our 22 starters, seniors. The rest, basically 1 foot in the transfer portal. No depth, no future, no room for error. Can we build something out of nothing before the bottom completely falls out? This is the Toledo Dynasty. Here's a quick look, guys, at some of our best players on the roster. Some have picked Toledo to win the MAC conference, in part because they do have so many seniors at every position. And if you look at strong safety, there's a senior. Our top wide receiver is a senior. Our number 2 receiver is a senior. Our top cornerback is a senior. Our second cornerback is a junior. But once he realizes our pro potential is nowhere near a B+, he will very quickly, at the end of this year, transfer out. So in essence, he could be considered a senior because he will be gone after this year. Our center is a senior. Our halfback, and probably Toledo's biggest get in the transfer portal, he is also a senior. Malachi Davis, our starting left edge rusher. Once we get to the end of the season, he will quickly realize that our pro potential is not a B-, as he indicates there, and he will be out the door as well. So, as you can see, all of our best players are seniors, including our quarterback, Tucker Gleason. We will be running the veer and shoot offense, so I feel like Tucker Gleason can excel in that offense, and I do believe that quarterbacks, wide receivers, and really most offensive linemen will be attracted to that type of offense, but especially pass blocking offensive linemen. The struggle is going to be getting through our first year, obviously. I think we'll do okay. We'll do well. But looking through the roster, not only of non-senior starters, but of possible replacements for all of those guys that we're going to lose, it appears that we're going to lose most all of those guys as well, because unfortunately they're on deal breakers that we just cannot meet. So we very well could have a team next year of just purely freshmen. We may have a roster of 35 guys. For all I know, I don't know what's going to happen. So this will most definitely be my most challenging rebuild on CFB 26. I'll go ahead and set up my recruiting board. I'll try to update you guys as much as possible. As far as the schedule goes, we should have 4 non-conference games. It could be 3, whether it's 3 or 4. We're going to take off any school that is any good at all, because we want to win as many games as possible. We should be able to beat most every team in the MAC, but we want to win our non-conference games as well, because what I've found to be the case is that recruits love winning. They could care less if you lost by 1 point to Alabama. A loss is a loss is a loss to recruits. A win over a bad school, in their minds, in this game, is a win. And so we need to win games. That is job number 1. So let's get started. So we stand at 4-0 on the season. This is a huge game for the Toledo program, as we have 4 recruits in the house. All 3 stars, but all could be very important to the future. There are our 4 visiting recruits: a Will, a center, a cornerback, and a Mike linebacker. So Toledo down to the UTEP 4-yard line. They pass it to their tight end, and he gets in just barely for the rocket touchdown. What I will do each year is jump in to 3 games that I feel like are important games. I feel like this is an important one as we are 4-0 and we do have 4 of our recruits visiting this week. So Gleason changes the play at the line, or at least changes one of the routes. That was a great catch. That meant absolutely nothing. Oh, I thought I had it, but I just waited a little bit too long. But a first down reception and pass by Gleason. If you're wondering when senior day is at Toledo, every day is senior day, as most of our starters are seniors. Train them in the backfield with Gleason. He gets the rock and he runs it in. And that is another Toledo touchdown. Gleason on the money. That was a dot. So with recruits in hand, Toledo comes up with a huge victory. And that was a huge defensive week for Emmanuel McNeil Warren. We are in week 12. We stand with a conference record of 5-0. We are getting ready to face Miami of Ohio, who has the exact same conference record at 5-0. I can step into 3 games each season. This will be the second that I will step into. Before we do, I want to show you the recruits that we have gotten so far. John Ellis at quarterback. There's a wide receiver we got, 2 centers, a guard, another guard, 2 will linebackers, and this one is a gem 3-star, so we're expecting a lot from him. And then 3-star Mike, and then we have 3 3-star cornerbacks that have committed to Toledo, and we are currently working on these 12. So another 3-star corner is pretty much going to sign with us. Another 3-star corner appears to be headed our way. An edge rusher seems to be headed our way as well as a gritty possession tight end, an athlete who is most likely a wide receiver. He looks to be coming our way. A center, a JUCO junior strong safety, even though Bowling Green has kind of got in on the race. Another 3-star will. This edge rusher locked us out, but we currently are number 1 on his list, and no other teams have offered him a scholarship, so we're going to keep him on our list in hopes that no one else offers him a scholarship and he ends up coming to Toledo next year. Yes, that is a punter, a defensive tackle. We're the only one in on him, so most likely he's going to sign with us. And then a 4-star halfback, and don't laugh, but he's a north-south blocker, and I never recruit north-south blockers or north-south receivers, but he is the one 4-star out of the number that we recruited that had real interest in us. And so, I mean, we will have to see how his overalls are, but he very well could be good enough as an overall back, even though his archetype is north-south blocker, to step in right away and play for us. Just real quickly to show you the top classes. We're 14th. For those of you that, are kind of wondering, how is a Toledo team undefeated? Well, as you guys know, almost every starter on our team is a senior, and we
their 4 non-conference games. We played Old Dominion, FCS East, UTEP, and Georgia State. So I don't want to say easy wins, but easy wins. So the 5-0 Toledo Rockets go into Miami of Ohio. Miami, who is also 5-0 in conference. Wow. I don't know how Tucker Gleason was not sacked on that play. And he comes up with a huge catch right there. That's Vander Ross for the touchdown from Tucker Gleason. So no one is covering our tight end over here. So let's get him the ball. And he easily gets the first down. Now, I've seen coverages like that a number of times, especially in our Tulsa Dynasty, and I just don't get it. I don't understand why they leave their man. Oh, nice comeback. So Gleason underthrows Crosby, and he saw it and the corner didn't, so he came back for it. So 8 seconds here left before half as they look to score, and they do, as Vander Ross just gets in. We will choose to look to Vander Ross. There's a flag on the play. Vander Ross catches that for what should be a touchdown. Yeah, it's offsides on Miami. Yeah, we have guys in there I've never heard of before. But that pass to the tight end is complete for yet another Toledo touchdown. 35-17 final. And Tucker Gleason with close to 400 yards passing and 5 TDs. Vander Ross does set the Toledo single game reception record. Darren Vick, no relation to Michael Vick. Ty Busby, the JUCO transfer, strong safety. So Toledo sits at 10-0, week 13. Rudolph on the catch, and the first down pretty deep into central Michigan territory. That one's to Rudolph, and that's a Rockets touchdown. They will tie this game up at 10, so we go to overtime. Obviously, for those that are just catching this on late night on ESPN2, this has huge implications for both schools as far as the MAC championship goes. Long 3rd and 9. And Rudolph gets that first down. Oh, that one's caught for a touchdown by Rudolph. Central Michigan ties it up, and then our defense holds them to a field goal. So at this point, it is up to Toledo to score a touchdown. Oh, what a job by Vander Ross. Did you guys see that? But the catch by Vander Ross, can he get in? He does not. It is 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. A touchdown here wins the game for Toledo. So train them back in the game. And once again, they are shut down. Wow. It is unbelievable, the defense played by the Chippewas. So this is on the road, so this is no easy field goal. Oh, thank you. So now it will be 2-point conversion time. Toledo wins it. Why did they not let me play that? But that's okay. Maybe I was the problem. Toledo wins. Trayvon Rudolph ends the game with 15 catches. Welcome to the MAC championship with Toledo taking on Buffalo. Oh, nice pass to Crosby Jr. by Tucker Gleason. Nice throw. Nice vision by Tucker Gleason. Oh, wide open. Touchdown, baby. Yes. So it was press coverage, but he didn't have to really beat the press coverage. The defensive back on Holly just kind of let him go. Oh, nice pass. That was kind of blind, too. So Toledo, really with nothing to lose, they elect to go for it. And that one's complete to Vanderos for another Toledo Rockets touchdown. And that's it, guys. The MAC championship will reside in Toledo, Ohio. LeBron James just tweeted, "Congrats, Rockets." So enjoy it, Toledo fans, while you can. Tucker Gleason set the Toledo single season passing yards record. Ooh, so we get some commits from 3-star cornerback Larry Bramble, and that is it. Look, guys, at the top conferences to the far right. Look at number 11. The MAC conference is a D+. I mean, it's worse than the Sun Belt and Conference USA. And just think, if Toledo was not 13-0, it might be an F. Charles Polson wins Coach of the Year. My friend, my earthly hero, my dad, Charles Polson, wins the Bear Bryant Award. He passed away a few years ago. When he was alive, we would scout together, high school games, college games, NFL games. We would watch the NFL draft every year. We would prepare for the NFL draft. He was a special dad to have. And I miss you, Dad, so much, man. You truly were my best friend. I miss talking to you about stuff like this, but glad you could lead us to an undefeated season thus far. Wow, so our defensive coordinator wins the Broyles Award for Coordinator of the Year. The coordinator we just fired, Julian Sand, now winning the Heisman Trophy with Ohio State. Of course, Toledo does not make it into the CFP. Their strength of schedule was just absolutely terrible. We are in off-season recruiting after we went undefeated this season. So far, we've gotten 19 3-star recruit. Keldrick Falk is the number 1 player in the transfer portal. He is a 5-star. There are only 3 5-stars. And rightfully so, we are locked out of all 3 of them. But if you just go down to the 5th ranked player in the transfer portal, free safety from Minnesota, has none other than Toledo first on his interest list. Does it say that we need a free safety? No. But if we get him, is he going to start immediately? Absolutely. Go down to the 9th best player in the transfer portal. Not only is it a strong safety, which we supposedly don't have a need for strong safety, but here's a kid from Alabama that says, you know what? I'm tired of playing in the SEC. I want to go play in the MAC where Toledo plays. So Bray Hubbard wants to transfer for his last season to Toledo. Now we'll have to work to get him, obviously, but he has Toledo first on his list. How cool is that? Let's scroll down a little bit. Wow, 16, Florida State's Jeremiah Wilson wants to go to Toledo, Ohio and play cornerback for us. Great Iowa State quarterback Rocco Becht says, you know what? I'm tired of being in the top 25. I'm putting Toledo of the MAC conference 3rd on my list. A 4-star guard from Notre Dame wants to come play for Toledo. This cornerback from Oklahoma says, yeah, we were third in the nation this year, but if I have a chance to go play in the MAC, that's what I want to do. Ooh, this is interesting. Devon Dampier. This is a little off subject here, but he was dynamic at the University of New Mexico, surrounded by just an awful team. And he was electric, not just passing the ball, but especially running the ball. He transferred to Utah. Apparently it didn't work out at Utah, and now he wants to go to Texas, Alabama, or SC. But let's just scroll down the top 50 or maybe 100. Christian Gray, a cornerback from Notre Dame, says, do I want to play for the most prestigious program maybe in college football history? Nah, I want to go to Toledo, Ohio. Zabian Brown has a second on his list, and another guy from Alabama. This one, a cornerback, another free safety. He has his third on his list. Strong safety from Minnesota has a second on his list. A left tackle from NC State has a second. A center from Notre Dame has a second on his list. Free safety from Boston College, number 1. Ja'Cory Barney Jr. He at least has Toledo in his top 4 schools. We need a halfback desperately. Well, Jalen Buckley, an elusive bruiser from Western Michigan, ranked 74th in the entire transfer portal, has Toledo first on his list. Victor Snow, another 4-star from Buffalo, wants to come play for us. So we'll just show you the top 100. Actually, we'll show you the top 103. Walker White has Toledo second on his list. And let me just show you, if you wondered if we would have a replacement for Tucker Gleason. Look at all these 3-stars that have us first. And what is this? At 138 overall, a 4-star quarterback from Alabama and a pocket passer. He's only a sophomore, so he'd be a junior for us. The dude had to be a 5-star, so no telling how good he is. Just like Preston Stone. And then you scroll down 2 more. Penn State's Anthony Varner is only a freshman, and he has Toledo first on his list. Look at all these 3-star wide receivers that want to come play for us. Tight end, not many there, but a number of 3-stars are interested in playing for the Rockets, including Marshall's Toby Payne, a 4-star. He has us third on his list. So that's just a little sneak peek at what the transfer portal looks like. Obviously, not at every position. We just have to work hard and do everything we can to get these guys to sign with us. A quick update to end season 1 of the Toledo Rockets Dynasty. We finished with the 25th best recruiting class in the country, and we did finish 15th overall. We brought in 31 recruits, 24 3-stars, and 7 4-stars. And we'll go over pretty much everybody with you. I know we were looking at a quarterback from Alabama, one from Iowa State, even Preston Stone from Northwestern. But we did pick up Anthony Varner from Penn State, so he should immediately start for us. I believe we went after 3 4-star quarterbacks. There were such big schools coming after those quarterbacks about halfway through that it was almost impossible to compete with them, even though they had Toledo first on their list. And we barely hung on for Varner at the end, but there was a mad dash for every 4-star player that we were going after, especially at quarterback. So he should be a huge help and a huge get for us. But as insurance, because I didn't know in week 4 what was going to happen, is I went after Brady Hart a 3-star transfer from Texas A&M, and then Derek Walker, also a 3-star transfer from Notre Dame. So we, on our roster, all of a sudden have transfers from Penn State, Texas A&M, and Notre Dame. Bill Davis is the 1 4-star that we went after at the halfback position. We did pick up this Cornell Macklin during the regular season. When I wasn't sure if we could sign Davis, I quickly looked for guys who had us first on their list, and this Jace Clarizio from Michigan State, who's an East-West playmaker, had us first and signed with us. Victor Snow, a 4-star wide receiver who we chose to go after out of Buffalo. I believe he was the 77th overall ranked prospect in the transfer portal. Ramesh we got from the high school ranks. He is a gadget receiver, and they generally improve the fastest. So we need him to improve quickly. Somehow we signed 3 centers. We did pick up Deion Chansey. We got Theo Emery, another guard. This is a guy we needed extremely badly. And it was a 4-star lineman. He will be a junior for us this year. He's a pass protector. This was kind of an under the radar get here. What the CPU was telling us is that we needed 5 edge rushers for some reason. We got 2, and we only got 2 3-stars, 2 3-star transfers, but we got DJ Wesolak out of Missouri State, and then Raphael from Michigan State. They both, should start, I guess, immediately, as Raphael will be a sophomore, Wesolak a senior. I did sneak a peek, and Wesolak actually has star ability. So my hope is that he will have a huge amount of points to level him up. So we will soon find out. We did get a high school defensive tackle. We got this gem of a 3-star Will linebacker. And if I saw right, he also has star ability. So he should level up very quickly for us. Another high school Will we got. And yet another one, we got a Mike. This was a huge get for us. Maybe the top get for us. Jeremiah Wilson, 4-star transfer out of Florida State. He was the number 16th ranked player in the transfer portal. The 16th ranked player. And he wanted to come play football at Toledo. So how cool is that? So we'll only have him for 1 year, but he should lock down number 1 receivers for a full year and give us time to allow all these high school 3-star corners that we recruited, which was 5 of them. So we signed 1 4-star transfer and 5 3-star high school cornerbacks. So hopefully they mature, and grow quickly and can help us as soon as possible. Another big get for us was Carter Davis, a free safety out of Boston College, and he was ranked 63rd overall. So a top 100 player in the transfer portal. We got Busby as a JUCO junior, but that is a JUCO junior in season, not through the transfer portal. But I hope that, he's a little bit better than a strong safety just coming straight out of high school. We picked up what we thought was a much needed punter in Darren Vick. I believe our punter ended up staying and not transferring, but he was bound and determined that he was going to leave until the end. And then I think he said, I think I'd rather play for Toledo. So These last 4 guys were ones that hurt probably the most to lose. We were in first on Austin Mack from Alabama, 6'6" pocket passer. He fits our offense just perfectly. He was probably a 5-star coming out of high school. Colorado overtook us in week 4 as they had the week 4 visit and they had the pipeline advantage. That was a killer to lose him. But we got Anthony Varner from Penn State. This was a tough one to lose too because we didn't get another tight end, to in his place. Even though Toby Payne only had his senior year, it would have been awesome to have him. But Tennessee just, when they decided they wanted him, there was nothing we could do. As you can see, they had a pipeline advantage over us and just threw us aside. Same with Jacarius Peak. I thought we would get bookend tackles, at least for one season. And Florida State said, no, thank you. We even had a week 4 visit, which I know some people say visits don't matter, but look at their pipeline compared to our no pipeline. And when they decided they wanted them, it was over. And then Bray Hubbard, who I believe was in the top 25 or 30 or so of prospects in the transfer portal, transferred from Alabama, had us number 1 on his list until the very last week. And even though Louisville didn't have a pipeline to him, he changed his decision in week 4 to go to Louisville instead of coming to Toledo. So those were the killers, but we had a top 25 class, a great mixture of high school players. I probably recruited too many high school players. If I would have left maybe 3 or 4 off of the high school signees list, I could have got 3 or 4 more, probably not 4 stars, but at least 3 stars that could have come in and helped us right away. We did the best we could. We ended up having a really good transfer portal. There is your at least 25 or 30, 35 of your new Toledo Rockets that we will see in the upcoming season. We are about to start the second season of the Toledo Rockets Dynasty. We went from a 72 overall to a 79 overall. We were 71 on offense. Now we're a 79. And we were a 74 on defense. And we are now also a 79. So right on the cusp of the 80s. I'll be honest with you guys. I thought we were practically going to be going on the death penalty. I thought year 2 was going to be walk-ons and maybe 2 stars playing for us. But truly, the transfer portal saved our lives. Now we are a 79 overall. The bad part about that is a number of the players that make up that 79 overall are seniors, and there are a few juniors. So, we have to win recruiting battles in season so that we can get guys right out of high school and hopefully develop them. Hopefully they have great skill traits and we can develop them, but also use the transfer portal as, a help to us. But we already were the best team last year in the MAC pretty easily. And now I would say we are the best team. And I'll show you here in just a minute. But I wanted to show you our 4 non-conference games. Remember, guys, winning is key. winning solves everything. Almost. Maybe not brand exposure, but pretty much everything else in FBS 26, it helps immensely. So our 4 non-conference games, FCS Southeast, Delaware, Kennesaw State, and Charlotte. So they're winnable games. Just like I did in year 1, I'll be able to jump into 3 games. I'll have to choose those games wisely. Most likely they will be conference opponents. And I'll show you our conference. I believe they have picked us to be first in the conference, but Buffalo second as a 67 overall, so we're quite a bit better than them. Miami is a 66 overall. Central Michigan is a 67 overall. Then UMass 64, Western Michigan 61, Ohio down to 60, Ball State at 64, 63 for Bowling Green, 61 for Northern Illinois, 64 for Kent State, which I don't know if I've ever seen that, a literal no star. I've seen where it's like a half star and it's considered no stars, but they have not even half of a star. That is really sad. But they are a 64 overall, so they could beat some of these teams. Eastern Michigan is maybe the best of the bunch. They're a 70 overall, and I don't know how they got to be a 70 overall, but they are. So they'll be tough. And Akron is bad again, and they are 58 overall. So obviously, if we play Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan, Miami, and Buffalo, I'll have to jump in. Let's check the schedule out just real quick. So the 3 games it looks like that I'll have to jump into are for sure Miami and Buffalo. And I'll have to probably pick from maybe these last 3 schools to play. So our hope is that we can go undefeated again. With that being said, people can make fun all they want, it being the easiest schedule in the country. But, wins help everything in CFB 26. And we already are at 2.5 star, which is going to help us, or should help us some in recruiting. I won't go over the whole roster with you, but I did want to share with you that we felt like in the transfer portal that Anthony Varner was kind of an answer to prayer. He was a 4-star transfer from Penn State. It appears here that Varner has won the job as an 83 overall sophomore dual threat impact dev trait. But if you go down one, our Texas A&M transfer, Brady Hart, who is actually a freshman and a pocket passer, which fits our offense better, who also has impact dev trait. If you compare the 2 guys, Varner obviously is more of the scrambler, which is not really part of our offense. But look at the short throw accuracy. And even the throwing power. Brady Hart, as a freshman, a redshirt freshman, has 90 throwing power, 93 short accuracy, 90 medium throw accuracy, compared to 83 for Varner, which is really a huge difference. Check this out, though. Deep throw accuracy, Brady Hart 86 to Varner's 67. We love to go deep, guys. And if Varner is our savior, so to speak, how can we start him if he can only throw 67 with deep throw accuracy compared to 86? And I looked at Brady Hart on 247. He was a 4-star. He was offered by them. Michigan, Texas A&M, Clemson. So the dude is a legit 6'4" pocket passer that not only can play for one of the big schools, but he can play for a school that is vying for a national championship. If you look at his overall as a redshirt freshman, it's only it's already an 82. And what's kind of sad is that Derek Walker, our transfer from Notre Dame, look at the physicals that he has. He's also an impact dev trait, and he's only 6 foot, so he doesn't have the size that Hart does. He's a year older, but he has very similar characteristics to Brady Hart. So most likely Walker will be the backup in case Brady Hart gets hurt. We have a similar type thrower in Derek Walker. And Varner is going to be our third string, which is it blows my mind because I thought Varner was going to be everything for us this year. So Anthony Varner, our third string quarterback. Crazy, right? Bill Davis, the 4-star halfback we upgraded him to an 86. And then that Clarizio, the 3-star that we went after when we weren't sure if we were going to get Davis. Look at him as a sophomore, 3-star. He's an 83 with 90 speed. So as long as he accepts a backup role or running back number 2 role for this season, there'll be plenty of carries to go around. So I hope he sticks with us. Victor Snow, our 4-star transfer from Buffalo, is an 86. But probably the biggest mover was Terrell Crosby Jr., who I could be wrong, but I thought he was around 70 or maybe in the low 70s. And he's now an 81. So that gives us 2 legit guys on the outside. Here's where it drops off a little bit, but it's a lot better than we thought it was going to be. So these guys are close to 80s right here. And this guy's only a sophomore. He has impact dev trait. Another impact dev trait. He's 74. We, of course, swung and missed at the tight end position. And I'm tempted to start Brett Lockhart because he's a redshirt freshman as opposed to our senior. But really, when you go through everything, spec catch, medium route running, deep route running, release, which is huge because you got to get off of those linebackers and nickel and dime backs that have their hands on you in those first 5 yards. But pass block is so much better. Pass block finesse, run block power, run block finesse. How can you not start the senior? So, and just a few other highlights. The 4-star Andrew Sprague we got improved to an 86. Harder, a starter from last year because he had an impact dev trait. He did improve to an 81, which is much better than he was last year. We're thin at edge, but we're secretly better than we thought. 83. And then DJ Wesolak, he was also a 3-star transfer that we got in the portal. And he improved so much because he's star dev trait. And then Carter, depending on which number you look at, he's a 77 or 79. I'll go by the numbers that are pumped up by our coaches. He's a 79 with a 72 redshirt freshman backup. Our linebacker positions are in bad shape. Look at Jeremiah Wilson. He's in his senior year, but he's a 94 overall corner. You talk about shutting down any number 1 wide receiver that we have to face. 92 speed, 97 acceleration, 95 agility, 96 change of direction, 93 press coverage. 90 man and 91 awareness. That's a dude that should be at Alabama or Georgia or someplace like that, but he's playing for Toledo. We were able to get this guy up to an 85, and then it kind of falls off after that. Free safety, Carter Davis will be an 85, and Braden Moore will just barely be an 80. Look at our true freshman kicker, 78. 93 kick power, 83 kick accuracy. I don't put a lot of stock into kickers, but when you're the Toledo Rockets in year 2, you may be winning some games by a field goal or by 1 point. And it may be Darren Vick that wins that game for you. And when he starts out as a 78 overall, that means we'll be able to hit some deep field goals, and he should be pretty accurate. So the Toledo Rockets enter week 5 undefeated. Oh, that one to Snow for the touchdown, and an easy 7 for Toledo. Oh, nice job by Hart to get his tight end. We saw him break free, and he got it to him. Graceful in the game. The 5th receiver, a redshirt freshman, but with impact abilities. And he catches that for another Toledo touchdown. So, huge touchdown for the redshirt freshman. Seldom used. Looks like they may pass again. Oh, and they go to their tight end. Their senior tight end, Isram. And that, my friends, is just another Toledo touchdown. You got to hand it to Miami of Ohio. They really have played extremely well. Oh, that was an absolutely terrible throw. Lang did a good job to come back and get it. And Bill Davis, the 4-star transfer, bullies his way into the end zone for a Toledo Rocket touchdown. And that will end the game, folks, as Toledo takes out Miami in a little bit closer game than expected. And we did have 4 recruits this game. It would be huge for us to get at least 2 of them, and we get none. But Toledo is ranked 25th in the nation. Our very own Toledo Rockets stand at 4-0, and if I did my math right, that may be 18 wins in a row. If so, that's crazy. But with that being said, they just cracked the top 25, so that shows you the horrendous competition we play each season. It sounds like the same thing. I mean, Bulls and Bills, you know? I wonder if that was on purpose. Great pass over the middle to Crosby Jr. He gets in for a Toledo touchdown, the first one of the day. So 1:17 or so left. Oh, and that's to the wide open 4th receiver, it looked like. Again, that is Buffalo fans just in tears, if you can hear that. So a huge win. 21-3 is your final. So not only is this the 3rd and last game of the regular season that I will be jumping into, but it is a big rivalry game for Toledo. The Battle of I-75 against Bowling Green. Lang with the catch and the touchdown. Hart and Lang seem to have a connection. I believe I said in another game that the Toledo coaching staff, including Coach Polson, believes that Braceful has big things in store for him. And number 8 gets down to about the 4-yard line. And that one to Snow. And that one is just perfect. So 3rd and goal at the 13-yard line, it looks like. Oh, Holly goes up and gets that one for yet another Toledo Rockets touchdown. Every team in the MAC conference is absolutely atrocious. There may have been one or two schools that was good. And there is Lang again, man. You know, we intentionally played an easy schedule. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Oh my gosh, there's a fumble. The ball is not only turned over, but 91 looks like the fastest runner in all of college football. You see the speed, the acceleration on that guy? That's a defensive tackle. That's 300 pounds right there. And I know he was beating our offensive lineman, but put him in the backfield, Bowling Green. Oh, that one is put on the money for Lang. Oh, yeah, he's wide open. That's Lang again, right? And that field goal is true. Of course, Toledo's going to pass here at the goal line. And they score a touchdown on the reception by Lang. So heart to Lang. Get used to hearing that. Toledo is going to win the battle of Interstate 75, led in part by a couple of freshmen. Yeah, 30 first downs for Toledo to Bowling Green's 8. Brady Hart, 36 of 50, 395 yards passing, 4 TDs, 1 interception. Bill Davis had 12 carries for 56 yards and 1 TD. Zamarian Lang, the super sophomore, at 6'3", 183, had 14 catches, 176 yards, and 2 TDs. We get Barry Joy. Yes, he's only a 3-star halfback, but he is a gem 3-star halfback. Another commit, free safety from Brentwood, California, Makaha. Zamarian Lang is the MAC Offensive Player of the Week. If you go to 247 Sports, look up Zamarian Lang. That dude must have been a freak in high school because the number of schools that he had offers from was just ridiculous. And the level of schools was ridiculous too. Well, the craziest part is that he chose Toledo. I don't think that I don't remember in his story that he, signed with like Georgia or somebody and then transferred to Toledo. So it'd be interesting. I would love to interview him and just find out a little bit more about his story. This is for the MAC championship. Toledo on a 26-game winning streak. They will face the second toughest team in the MAC, though, in Central Michigan. They will be playing at Ford Field, the home of the Detroit Lions. There's Lang, who has been huge all season. In fact, Lang set the Toledo record for catches in a season. So 153 left in the first quarter. Ooh, nice catch. Is that Lang again? That guy is ridiculous, man. So Bill Davis in there and Bill Davis out. But the longtime Toledo Rocket gets the touchdown. So the play action. Oh, and they find Lang again. Lang already with 51 yards receiving on the day. I don't know if this counts as a road game, but this could be a tough field goal. And it is, as it is missed to leave the score at 7-0. Oh, Snow catches that off the deflection. Did you guys see that? That was nuts. Bill Davis, the 4-star transfer from Louisiana, is in there. He gets it with some good blocking and just walks into the end zone. Let's see if this line can make a hole for Davis, though. And they do, just enough for him to get in for another Toledo Rockets touchdown, and that is your MAC championship. So even though Toledo has gone undefeated this season, most likely they will not make the CFP, and that is somewhat on me due to, creating such a light schedule. But I believe we more than make up for it in the recruits we can pick up during the regular season, which are ranked currently 11th, I believe. Wow, so Brady Hart has set the Toledo single-season passing yards record. After 2 MAC championships, Toledo got no invitations to the CFP, but what they did get is 4 4-stars in the top 71 of the transfer portal, including number 71 offensive tackle Logan Howland from Rutgers, who will start immediately for us. Then at 57, transfer freshman, who will be a sophomore for us, in Matthew Outen, who will also start immediately for us. And then we have to go all the way to the top 15, and it is Matt Chadwick, 4-star transfer junior from the U, who finished the season at 9th in the country. So Chadwick should come in a very good senior. Now, we have a great quarterback, a very good quarterback. It'll be interesting to see how good Chadwick is. Unless he's great, we've got our guy. And the 4th and final top 100 guy from the transfer portal, Toledo landed the number 1 overall player to enter the transfer portal in Brian Nelson II, a boundary corner who will be a senior this year, transfer from number 2 USC, and he will most definitely play for us this year. What did we do as far as our class is concerned? We finished 16th overall with 31 total prospects, 13 4-stars, and 18 3-stars. So let's get season 3 started now.
We are beginning season 3 of your Toledo Rockets Dynasty. As you can see, Tulane is not preseason ranked in the top 25, even though we're on about a 24-game win streak right now. But we are receiving votes, and if they had a top 30, we would be 28th right now. We do have 69 votes, which is kind of fitting based on how they've messed us over, especially last year with our second undefeated season. We strongly considered moving conferences because the MAC is by far and away the weakest conference of all the conferences. So it, in essence, basically kicks us out of having any chance of making the CFP. One thing we did do is, instead of our 4 non-conference games being terrible teams, our 4 non-conference games will be at SMU, at home versus Vandy, at home versus number 18 Pittsburgh, and at Washington State. Let's check out our roster before we start season 3. As you can see, we are now a 2.5 star. We, I believe, are considered a 3-star school now. We improved last season, I believe, from a 79 overall to an 86 across the board this season. That came from development from our players as well as through the transfer portal. We'll try to go through this as quickly as possible. Brady Hart, of course, is our returning starter, still only a redshirt sophomore. Bill Davis, a 4-star transfer last year. Look at all his physicals, man. What was that? Platinum shifty, platinum head first, gold sidestep, silver downhill. He put up some great numbers at Louisiana before he transferred to Toledo, and then he put up great numbers for us last year. Clarizio was another guy that wanted to transfer. We got him as kind of, thinking that we might lose out on Bill Davis. Clarizio was our backup plan. He comes from Michigan State, and I mean, he would do very well for us, I'm sure, if we had to start him. But he was also one that wanted to transfer because Davis was in front of him. And then we only have 3 running backs, guys. Luckily, we got Barry Joy, I believe, who was a 3-star out of high school last season. And at least he has impact dev trait. So 69 now, but he should improve quite a bit. Wide receiver is another position where we seem to be losing a lot of guys. Zamarion Lang. Look at that star dev trait, man. I hope and I pray that he does not declare for the NFL draft. He had a breakout year last year for us. If he stays in school one more year with that star dev trait, we should be able to level him up for his senior year big time. Matthew Outen was the big 4-star transfer that we got in the transfer portal this year. He does have impact dev trait. He's only a redshirt sophomore, and he's already an 86. So the dude is going to be good. Braceful is a Toledo guy. I inherited him and have tried to nurture him the best I could, make him better. And that little bit of dev trait with the impact dev trait has helped his growth significantly. Jaden Ham at tight end, impact dev trait. The other 2 tight ends, just normal. At left tackle, we have the senior 4-star transfer portal transfer who has star dev trait, but is already a senior, so he's not going to improve anymore. But he's an 87. Boswell is a junior. We do have a true sophomore, Jaden Tam, who has impact dev trait. At right guard, we have Kropchak, redshirt junior, 78 overall, normal. Another 4-star transfer portal guy that we got, Logan Howland, I believe out of Rutgers. It's an 87 overall. At left edge, this is our future right here, guys. But he's already good enough to be great now. This is a 3-star portal guy that we got. He's only normal dev trait, so he hasn't progressed a lot. Defensive tackle doesn't look too good. 79 with the boost, normal dev trait, true sophomore. Here's where we could have a decent D tackle, and that's Colby Overhauser. At the Sam, we have the Ricky Williams. He is a darn good Sam for us. At Mike linebacker, we don't look too good. We have a senior, 80 overall. We do have this freshman that's a 75. At Will, we have one of the most special players on our team, Akeem Dogby, and he hasn't played a down for us. But he's an 81 overall. At corner, the number 1 guy in the transfer portal, and Brian Nelson II was huge. Because look at all that he has. Gold jammer, platinum blanket coverage, silver layout, gold wrap-up, silver quick jump, and he's a 93 overall. He should be able to lock down number 1s, and that way Bly Hill and Jalen Todd don't have to get stuck with them. Here's Carter Davis, a great free safety at 86 overall. Braden Moore is about as solid as you can get in the MAC. I never draw attention to kickers, and this kicker is just normal dev trait, and he's only a 79, which 79 is pretty high for a kicker. He's got mental a fan favorite. He's got, believe silver deep range. Let's check out this guy right here. If he'll just stay till the end of his senior year, it'll be fascinating to see what we can get him up to. Now, his power is maxed out at 93. His accuracy is maxed out at 84. But all we have to work on is IQ, which is super expensive at 9 points per awareness. Check this out. His physicals, just 3 more points, and we can get him to gold deep range, which I don't think I've ever worried about unlocking physicals on kickers, because kickers are the last things I worry about. He's got silver
deep range, so it's easier accuracy, timing on deep field goals. So like usual, I have to pick 3 games to jump into during the season. And what better game to jump into than our first game of the season, and that's against 24th ranked SMU. Oh, Lang is wide open, baby. He catches it. He's at the 10, the 5, touchdown. Zamarion Lang. So Tajee Braceful with the catch, and he gets down to about the 2-yard line. Hart under center. And Hart takes that in easily as Toledo's offensive line busts open a hole for him. Do we try our field goal kicker here? And that's what a good field goal kicker can do for you guys. It is 2nd and goal at the 3-yard line. Bill Davis this time to Hart's right. Oh, and Bill Davis just slips around his blockers, and he just waited, and he just kind of waited for a hole to open, and one did, and that's his 2nd TD of the day. They have 3 wide receivers out there, but I just feel that they're going Davis, and they do. It is 3rd and 4. This has always been a passing down for the Toledo Rockets as long as Charles Polson has been the head coach. But they've never had Bill Davis. They've never had Bill Davis. Get used to the name, guys. Toledo and Coach Charles Polson will walk out of here, I believe, with his 25th straight victory at Toledo. And this time they beat the number 24th ranked team in the nation in the SMU Mustangs. Of course, Bill Davis is the MAC Offensive Player of the Week. We face off against the number 11th ranked Pittsburgh. Oh yeah. And that is the Penn State transfer right there, guys. Oh, that one goes to Lang. That's a touchdown, baby. Hopefully that makes them a little bit happier. So Toledo, in these kind of situations, almost always passes the ball. Let's see what they'll do here. Nope, they're giving it to Bill Davis, the Louisiana transfer, and he runs it in for the go-ahead touchdown. So I suspect they're going to try to get it to Lane, and they do. He comes up short of the first down. Okay, they want to try a 57-yard field goal, and I appreciate their belief in our field goal kicker, but we are not going to do that. Tajee Braceful with the catch, and he's down to the 25-yard line, folks. Call it a game, guys. The number 23 Rockets take down the number 11 Pitt Panthers. So Eli Holstein is number 1 in the Heisman projections, but it appears he's not at Pitt. Looks like he transferred to Mississippi State. So through week 11, we are 9-0. We're ranked 13th in the country, and I did want to quickly show you our schedule. I scheduled a little bit tougher set of schools in SMU, Vanderbilt, Pittsburgh, and Washington State. Washington State wasn't very good. Vandy was really bad, but SMU and Pitt were both very good. I usually jump in on 3 games. So I jumped in on the SMU game, of course, the Pitt game, but Vandy and Washington State I did not. And I haven't jumped in on any other games. We've got 3 games remaining before the conference championship. If I did jump in on any game, it would be Miami, because we're playing at their place for one, which is always harder to win. And they are one of the better teams in the MAC. Let me show you really how bad the MAC has become. So we're an 86 overall. Central Michigan is tied with Miami for second. They are a 67 overall. Miami is a 68 overall. Now remember, we're an 86, so 18, 19 points better, or overall better, than the 2 best teams in the conference. And then the 3rd best team, or 4th best team, I guess, Buffalo, is a 69 overall. If you look at the CFP bracket,
we are the last team in, and we're going to have to go through just a juggernaut of teams if we win. I wanted to show you Coach Polson's record right now. So he is 37-0. I bet you won't ever see that, even in the horrible conferences. That's pretty amazing. Even though we went 14-0 both years, we got no CFP invite, and rightfully so. You know, regardless of who you're playing against or whatever, that I'd say that's a pretty good winning streak. That's right, guys. Brian Nelson II, who was the number 1 overall player in last year's transfer portal, and man, did he solidify our cornerback room. He wins the 2027 Jim Thorpe Award. So I have good news and bad news, guys. We did make the CFP, but we do have to play the Georgia Bulldogs. The Brady Hart, our redshirt sophomore, is a 91 overall and threw for 5,000 yards this year, 45 TDs, and 5 picks. Was never in the Heisman discussion, and rightfully so. You know, based on we weren't in one of the top conferences, but he balled out, man. You know who else carried the rock? 5'9", 238-pound, 4-star transfer that we got from Louisiana, of all places. Zamarion Lang just kind of took over last year, and he kept it up this year with 114 catches, 1,500 yards receiving, 12 TD receptions. Tashi Braceful, our 6'2", redshirt junior, 4th receiver role, had 105 catches, close to 1,500 yards, and 13 TDs. Matthew Outen, the number 57 transfer in the transfer portal this last year. He did catch 64 balls for us, 780 yards, and 5 TDs. On defense, Braden Moore, who also was a transfer portal guy from 2 years ago that I had forgotten was a transfer portal guy, had 70 tackles for us at strong safety. So he was a huge pickup. Carter Davis, he was right behind him with 67 tackles, 15 tackles for loss as your second D tackle. Ricky Williams played well for us, starting at the Sam position. And then there's Overhauser, our second defensive tackle, which technically he doesn't start since we run a 3-3-5. Somehow he got 8.5 sacks. 5 sacks for Williams, 3.5 for Dogby. This is another kid, Patrick McCauley, redshirt freshman. He plays right end or the edge position, and he's already an 82. There's your Thorpe Award winner right there. That's what Thorpe Award winners do. Welcome, everybody, to Sanford Stadium, the home of the Georgia Bulldogs. This is the first round of the 2027 college football playoffs. So the head coach, Charles Polson, is telling the Rockets players that they are going for it. And that's Lang, and he comes up with the first down catch. Instead of quieting the crowd, I think it actually made them louder, if that's possible. And that's a touchdown, folks. Is that finally Taji Braceful? No, that's Eric Hawley, really our 6th receiver. So our defense comes up huge to stop Georgia on their first drive. Oh, Bill Davis gets that, baby. Oh, he breaks free. That was a huge play for Toledo, guys. What does Coach Polson have up his sleeve? And he has a touchdown pass from Brady Hart to Zamarion Lang. That's right, Zamarion Lang, who had, I believe, 114 receptions this year, came on huge for the Toledo Rockets. Air Nolan seems to be struggling for the Georgia Bulldogs. Oh, what a move by Outen. He learned that at Penn State, folks. And then he brought it to Toledo, Ohio. Oh, no, 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 no. No. Oh, Davis, catch him, baby. Thank you. Okay, I take full responsibility for that. But in all fairness, I had no idea who I was throwing to. Oh, McCants caught that, baby. He's gone. Touchdown, Toledo. Oh, they are going crazy back in Ohio right now. I suspect they'll look for Braceful or Outen here, but I can't see like Brady Hart can't see. Oh, and Braceful gets it. Get in that end zone. Taji Braceful on the pass from Hart gets in to put Toledo up 28-7. Georgia is on their heels, folks. Look at Bill Davis. Look at him go. Is that not one of the best backs you've ever seen? Oh my gosh. You heard it here first, folks. But the best play in every coach's playbook, the quarterback kneel. Somehow, Coach Polson leads the Toledo Rockets past the Georgia Bulldogs. I would say led by Brady Hart, and they were led by Hart, but also by Davis, and just a huge game by the defense. And because we have played so well, Brady Hart has set the Toledo career passing touchdowns record. Bill Davis has set the MAC single season rushing touchdowns record. This obviously is quite an in-state rivalry. The great Toledo, Ohio State games, throughout the years. No, I'm just kidding. There's been no games like that. So here we are, folks, in the Rose Bowl, the quarterfinal matchup between intrastate rivals Toledo and Ohio State. First and goal. And even though Toledo does not have a fullback, they have a 2 tight end set with a guy who looks like a fullback in the game, Davis behind him, and Davis gets in to score a touchdown for the Toledo Rockets, and that was quickly erased by what's called a very fast touchdown. Ohio State expecting pass, because that's what Toledo does. Well, how about a run, folks? How about a run? And even 30 couldn't bring down Davis. We do not have a tight end that we can trust, really. But what we do have is a man by the name of Taji Braceful. Oh, perfect pass. It is second goal now at the 2-yard line. And Davis powers his way in for a 2-yard touchdown to put Toledo up 21-17. If you're born and raised in Ohio, you just know that you want to be a Rocket one day. Holly wide open. Hart saw him. Nobody. They had nobody on Holly the second. We're going to win this game. You heard it here first, guys. So let's just say that at least for tonight, I joked a little bit about the state of Ohio and who ran the state. But at least tonight, Toledo owns the state of Ohio. Brian Nelson II has set the Toledo career interceptions record. I would suspect that record will not be broken for quite a while. Oh, thank God we only have to play Michigan. So we are at Hard Rock Stadium. The CFP committee thought it was hilarious for Toledo to have to face Georgia, and if they somehow got past them, that they would face Ohio State, and that if they were able to do that, that then they would face off against the Michigan Wolverines. And even with 3 victories there, that would not win them a national championship. So, touche, CFP committee, touche. So, Braceful given a breather. And there's another play action. This one to McCants. And look at McCants go. This wide receiver group is deep, folks. So it's 7-7, all tied up at the beginning of the second quarter. Oh, yes! Lang catches that. I thought Lang was running a streak. I threw it like he was running a streak. And what does he do? He cuts in and he comes up with a huge grab. Randy Moss-like. It was about a 40-yard run by Davis if you factor in everything. Oh my gosh. Go, baby. Go! That is a true elusive bruiser, baby. So press coverage on Alton and Lang. Let's see if one of them can beat that press coverage. And one of them does, and his name is Alton. He comes from Penn State to Toledo, Ohio, because instead of just being another Nittany Lion, he wants them to build a statue of him outside of Toledo Stadium. Should we do the slip screen where Brady Hart throws it 10 yards behind the halfback and then he has to regain those 10 yards? No, let's just run. Let's try a running play. We've got Bill Davis, maybe the best back in the country. And the line busted open a hole for Bill Davis. And folks, this is turning into a coronation of sorts. Not of a national championship, but it is getting very close to a victory. So the handoff to Davis. Oh, there he goes, guys. The best running back you've never heard of. Look him up. Bill Davis. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm telling you guys, if you see Bill Davis in the transfer portal, you better go after him, man. You better go after him. Look at what he did to that poor 5-star. So Bryce Underwood, the Mr. Everything, right? Apparently could not do everything to move Michigan on to the national championship game. The Toledo Rockets are your Orange Bowl winners. They very well have a chance to cap it off with a national championship. If they do that, that will be right around 45 wins in a row. Wow, Brady Hart has set the national single season passing yards record. Tajee Braceful has set the Toledo single season receiving yards record. So none other than the USC Trojans, who upset the 3 seed Clemson Tigers. But I can almost guarantee you that USC is 90-something overall. So this may be the most difficult 4-game stretch to win a national championship that I've ever had to face. So this is it, guys. The national championship. Toledo has beaten Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and now we will have to face a USC squad that is so loaded, and their starting quarterback I just saw is Cliff Honeywell. He transferred to UTEP in my UTEP rebuild. He's a very good quarterback, 4-star quarterback. So I love that Brady Hart can make some changes at the line, which he does. Oh, and there's Braceful. Why are they leaving Braceful open? Hart is already so smart. He can make changes at the line depending on what the defensive set is. Oh, there's Taji Braceful. Get in the end zone. Who's the star of this game so far? It's that man right there. The handoff to Davis. Davis goes up the middle, cuts left. So Hart in the shotgun. Davis to his left. 3 wide receivers set. Oh, and Davis just discards that safety and scores the touchdown for the Rockets. So no one is covering McCants. It doesn't appear, but they're going to the Penn State transfer, and Outen picks up huge yardage for a first down. Baseball is a game of inches, but sometimes so is football. Oh, they get it to Davis. Can he get some blocks? And he does. That's all he needs, folks. Just a little room, and he'll do the rest. So far, Toledo has gone through a gauntlet of teams to get to this point. And Bill Davis easily gets in. Good blocking and good running right there. He was left wide open. You guys saw it. So don't act like you didn't see it. That's what he does. He catches passes. So, they're going to try the screen. And should I even say try when you throw it to Hart? The guy has been true, man. He has a special ability. And he does the same to 23. And he gets in. He didn't stiff arm or anything. He just merely brushed him aside. All of the hard work that we put in, going from a first-year team with almost all seniors to seemingly nothing, with our backups all wanting to transfer. In 2027, with help from the transfer portal, no doubt, we have won the national championship. And I can truly say now, congratulations to the Toledo Rockets. Congratulations, Toledo fans. Congratulations, underdog fans. There it is, folks. That's what you play this game for, right? Whether you play in an online league or an offline league, you play to see that pop up on your screen, right? I mean, what else do you play? One last thing I want to show you guys. Please know that in our first 2 years, and this is part of my method that has allowed me to be so successful, online dynasties and offline dynasties, but in those first 2 years, I took off any good schools that we were playing non-conference wise. It does you no good to play an Alabama or an Iowa or Nebraska, especially, to lose. And we were not, in those first 2 years, we weren't in the shape to beat schools like that. And recruits could care less if you beat a New Mexico or a Delaware. They just see wins. And what they definitely care about is if you lose, even if it's a close game, to like an Alabama or somebody like that, and they hate it. They absolutely hate it. That's the way the game is. I didn't make the game, but just for your dynasties, I hope that you'll keep that in mind. So, with that in mind, we had easy schedules our first 2 years, non-conference schedules, and then we played in the worst conference in all of football. I believe we were a D+ most of the time. So please don't get this twisted with what I'm about to show you. We did play, the worst schedule of any team by far, especially in the first 2 years. Check out Coach Charles Polson, my best friend, my dad, who I lost just a few years ago. Look what he's done. I don't know why they do it that way, but the grayed out area is not before Charles Polson signed. It's before he signed his new 5-year contract. But he came on in 2025. So he went 14-0, 14-0, and 17-0. And if I do my math correctly, that's 45-0. And you see job security safe. There should be a better word than safe. It should say locked in for life or something like that. Man, this is, my dad wasn't a video game guy necessarily, but he and I used to scout together. We used to, whether it was high school games, college games, we used to break down games. We loved the NFL draft. We could talk about anything. I could honestly say, when I was a child, he wasn't my best friend. He was my dad, But as an adult, he became my best friend. And even though I have great friends, man, it's hard to find best friends, and I miss them. But this is for you, Dad. Go Toledo Rockets.